Hello and welcome to the second layer of the Surreal Games Iceberg. Since this is the second video, make sure to check out the first one. For all the people who are new to iceberg charts and don't know what an iceberg chart is, the whole iceberg is supposed to represent all or most of the topic, such as Surreal Games. The top of the iceberg is basic level knowledge of the subject, and the bottom layer is the most obscure parts of the topic. Next, the definition of Surreal Games. In Surreal Games, the intention is to cut away the constraints of rationalism and allow concepts to develop more freely and in a more random manner. The aim is to break traditional thought patterns and create a more original outcome. Hello, Editor B, just popping in here to say that this iceberg was made by u/brainworms on Reddit, so shout out to them. You should go check them out. Okay, bye. Space Funeral is an indie game developed and published by the Catamites, where Philip and the Legcore set off on a strange and deadly mission to find the legendary City of Forms, from which all things in the world are derived. On their travels, they must overcome ghouls, criminals, hypnosis, lions, Draculas, cryptic letters, muscle hedonists, swamp knights, mysterious caves, blood ghouls, grotesque monsters, purple drink, and more to discover the secret of Space Funeral. It was released on the 17th of September 2010 on Microsoft Windows. Juice Galaxy is a happy place to fly around and smack things and drink juice, and explore things, and just flip around doing stuff. Although the game is currently in development, the core gameplay appears to be that of a 3D adventure game with physics-based combat, similar to one of Fishlicka's previous titles, Schwing. The player controls their avatar from a third-person camera perspective, and changing the camera position allows for the position of the player's held weapon to be adjusted. This allows for ranged weapons to be aimed and for melee weapons to be swung into enemies. The implementation of an energy bar that depletes with the use of heavy attacks or ranged weapons gives the combat some more challenge. Defeating enemies in combat grants a player juice points to be spent at juice fountains, increasing the power of certain abilities. It is an action-adventure role-playing game that was developed and published by Fishlicka. Its latest release is on the 2nd of January 2022 as of the writing of this video. It was released on the Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Cruelty Squad is an immersive power fantasy simulator with tactical stealth elements set in a sewage-infused garbage world. It is an indie action simulation game that was developed and published by Soft Products. It was released on the 16th of June 2021 on the PC. Megami Tensai is a video game in which the player takes control of a party composed of 2 humans and several demons. The party explores a large dungeon using a first-person perspective. The human characters use a variety of weapons and items, with the primary weapons being swords and guns. The items, which can range from healing items to different types of currency, are picked up from enemies or found in chests scattered throughout the dungeon. Weapons and accessories are purchased at different shops found within the dungeon. Progress is saved using a password system. It is a role-playing game that was developed by Atlus, Telenet Japan, and Opera House. It was published by Namco, Atlus, and Telenet Japan. It was released on July 1987 on the NES, PC, SNES, and mobile. The Neverhood is a surreal landscape dotted with buildings and other hints of life, all suspended above an endless void. However, the Neverhood itself is strangely deserted, with its only inhabitants being Clayman, Willy Trombone, Clog, and various fauna that inhabit the Neverhood. Much of the game's background information is limited to the Hall of Records, which is notorious for its length, taking several minutes to travel from one end of the hall to the other. The game begins with Clayman waking up in a room and exploring the Neverhood, collecting various discs appearing to contain a disjointed story narrated by Willy. As Clayman travels the Neverhood, he occasionally crosses paths with Willy, who agrees to help him in his journey, while Clog spies on them from afar. Eventually, Clayman's quest directs him to Clog's castle, and for this, Clayman enlists the help of Big Robot Bill, a towering automaton, and a friend of Willy's. As Bill marches to Clog's castle, Clog unleashes his guardian, the Clockwork Beast, to intercept Bill. It is a point-and-click adventure game that was developed by the Neverhood Inc. and River Hill Soft. It was published by DreamWorks Interactive and River Hill Soft. It was released on the 31st of October 1996 on Microsoft Windows and PlayStation. The original I'm Scared is about escaping a room. When you try to leave, the text on the screen reads, "I need the heart to open it." When you wander about and finally find the heart the text is talking about, a strange floating head jump scares you and crashes your game by showing a fake blue screen of death. As the game continues, more and more confusing events like the first happen. Once someone made an entity known as Whiteface. It infected people's computers and playing games with them. It was known to change forms from an ominous floating head to a slim woman. IMSCARED starts with an unknown individual who happens to be in a small room with a door that requires a heart to be opened. It is an indie adventure game that was developed and published by Ivan Zanotti's My Madness Works. It was released on the 31st of January 2016 on Microsoft Windows. Walking simulators / dreamwalkers are a minimalist genre that lack many of the traditional aspects of gameplay, such as a goal, win/lose conditions, or combat. Instead, they focus on discovery and a story through walking, exploration, and interaction with non-hazardous items in the environment. They sometimes feature puzzles, but these are infrequent or non-existent altogether, and are never a key aspect of the gameplay. Enemies or some other threat may be present, but death is rarely a risk to the player. Instead, some other form of punishment, loss, or setback may be implemented. It includes the games Death Stranding and Dear Esther. Sin Spin Adventure 1 and 2 are video games that Zachary August designed and programmed using art and music from the internet and other games. Originally intended as a proof of concept for a short adventure game, the first Sin Spin Adventure's development quickly transformed into an experiment in found imagery collage and non-sequitur exploration. It was developed in over 3 months. The sequel built upon the themes seen in the first game, while also adding in new styles of gameplay and a greater number of locations and quests to complete. It was developed for 9 months. It is an adventure game that was developed and published by Zachary August. It is a browser game that was released on the 14th of February 2016. Worlds.com, also known as Worlds Chat, was the first program Worlds Inc. made available to the general public, and it offered free of charge for download from their website. The popularity of the program and Worlds Inc. other successes such as Tamiko Thiel's work and Steven Spielberg to create Starbright World allowed Worlds Inc. to procure a minority investment of $5.6 million from Pearson plc in June 1995. The World's Chat user was allowed to choose from a gallery of existing three-dimensional avatars to be their representation in the virtual world. The gallery was presented in a fashion similar to that of a first-person shooter, except without the hands and weapon in the viewport. Once an avatar was chosen, the user was placed in the central hub of a virtual space station. The user would see representations of other online users in the station. It is a virtual reality-based chat room that was developed by Dave Leahy, Syed Asif Hassan, and Bo Adel. It was published by Worlds Inc. and released in April 1995 on the PC. Also, side note, Nextbo made an amazing video on this, so if you want to find out more information, I recommend watching this video. Toilet in Wonderland is a game where a constipated girl named Myra explores a toilet-filled Wonderland inhabited with many wacky characters. This game was made for the annual VIP RPG Red and White 2010 Festival, an event where many VIP community members gather together and create fun RPG Maker games for each other to play. In the end, all 102 games made for this event were voted on, and Toilet in Wonderland placed second. When Team Nonsense commented on their game-winning second place, they had this to say: "Although this was my first time participating in this festival, I had a great time with it, and it gained a lot of good memories. To everyone who played my game, to those who voted for me, and to the webmaster who published my work, I want to say thank you all very much." It is an adventure game that was developed and published by Team Nonsense. It was released on the 13th of December 2010 on the PC. Utaho Natari is a horror adventure novel that was developed and published by Peya Ah. It was released on the 28th of March 2013 on the PC. Soda Drinker Pro is a premier software in the first-person soda drinking genre. Experience what it's truly like to drink a soda at the beach, in the park, and even in space. With Soda Drinker Pro, you don't need to have soda in hand to experience a soda in your mind. It is an action simulation game that was developed and published by SnowRunner Games. It was released on the 13th of April 2016 on Microsoft PC. Revenge of the Sunfish was published and developed by Jung Tengu. The creator of the game said on their page, "I created most of Revenge of the Sunfish in 2007, In the time leading up to my final year 12 exams, as a distraction from my studies, I still managed to pass somehow. The idea behind the game had been with me for a long time before that though. The basic idea is that every level is supposed to be a different game, playable on its own. Games with very diverse gameplay are hard to find, so I always wanted to create a game like that. The game Incredible Crisis is a good example of the kind of gameplay I enjoy. It was an early influence on the design of Revenge of the Sunfish one. A school trip to the local aquarium inspired the antagonist, the Sunfish or Mola Mola. Everhood is an unconventional game that takes place in an inexpressible world filled with amusing musical battles and strange, delightful encounters. To put it simply, you are in for a ride. It is an adventure RPG that was developed by Chris Nordgren and Jordi Roca. It was published by Foreign Gnomes and Surefire Games. It was released on the 4th of March 2021 on Microsoft Windows. On the Hypnospace Outlaw Steam page, the description reads, "Greetings, Enforcer, and thank you for enlisting in the Hypnospace Patrol Department. As a caprotocracy sleeps, outlaws are out there committing terrible transgressions all across our beloved Hypnospace. And these virtual streets aren't going to police themselves. Hypnospace Outlaw is a 90s internet simulator in which you scour Hypnospace's wide variety of weird and wonderful websites to hunt down wrongdoers, while also keeping an eye in your inbox, avoiding viruses and adware, and downloading a plethora of games that may or may not be useful. As a part of your job as a Hypnospace Enforcer, you'll be watching out for copyright infringement, internet bullying, and more, with reports and rewards coming directly from the Hypnospace Patrol Department to your inbox. In your spare time, you can customize your Hypno OS desktop however you see fit, with a variety of downloads, wallpapers, screensavers, and helper bots to keep you company. It is a simulation game that was developed by Tendershoot, Michael Lash, and That Witches Media. It was published by No More Robots. It was released on the 12th of March 2019 on Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Middens is an exploration game using collage and original pixel art in tandem that makes the perspective of a drifter traversing a veritable X-zone. Roving its interminable waste, the nomad chances upon a sentient revolver beside an ominous pile of remains. The pistol offers its explicit in exchange for a pledge of inextricable companionship. Espousing the player's conscience, the dubious weapon directs the drifter to a nearby outpost, wherein the story further unfolds. Despite its appearance as a wasteland, the rift is home to many strange denizens, some volatile and others ineffectual. Whatever their disposition, the pistol represents the choice to engage them or to spare them. Aggression and passivity have their appropriate times, with rewards and consequences being granted to both paths respectively. It was developed and published by Takamo. It was released on the 12th of December 2012 on Microsoft Windows and Mac OS. In Hello, Hello, you play as a boy named Kazuki that is going through strain in a relationship with his girlfriend Akari. It takes place in a strange room where you have to accomplish certain things to complete all the endings. There are over 30 endings to accomplish, meaning you'll have to play it over and over again to beat them all, with the title screen and room changing almost every time you return. While playing the game, the player starts learning more about the relationship between the two characters. It is suspected that the game takes place in two alternate dimensions, one being where Kazuki lives and Akari died, and the other being where Akari lives and Kazuki dies. In each dimension, the living protagonist is being haunted by their deceased partner. It is a horror game that was developed and published by Tamashii and was released in 2013. In case you didn't watch last video, Nikki is an experimental Japanese indie game from 2004 by developer Kikiyama, created on Interbrain's RPG Maker 2003. Its original elements of gameplay have inspired a large cult following and a wide variety of fan games and spiritual successors. Peret and Heru was produced by two people, with Yeo Tani responsible for most of the development, and production took a year and a half to complete. The game received many honors, including the Platinum Prize in the ASCII held monthly contest Internet Contest Park, the only Platinum Prize to be given out during the existence of the contest. The game is similar to other RPGs in that it involves exploration and random enemy encounters, but its focus is not on combat, but rather puzzle solving to save party members from punishment. The main character throughout the game can learn action commands such as push, crawl, look above, etc. And these actions are crucial to save its comrades. If the main character fails to save a party member, not only does that person die and leave the party forever, he or she will come back to life in a mummified form to attack the party during the latter stages of the game. Also, different combinations of survivors result in different dialogue in the epilogue. It is a role-playing game that was developed by Mako Yaotani and published by Independent. It was released in 1998 on the PC. Off is a game that has garnered a sizable following for its story, characters, and atmosphere, particularly after its translation into English. It is about a mysterious being known as the Batter, who is described as being on an important mission. The Batter then travels through 4 bizarre zones in the world, revealing more as the game goes on. You play as an outside entity and you have been assigned to work with the Batter on a sacred mission, to purify the world of Oth. You then proceed to Zone 1 where you ride the train to the smoke mines. Here you find Alpha, your first add-on, who accompanies you on your mission and fights alongside the Batter during the purification of specters. It is an RPG game that was developed by Mortis Ghost and published by Unproductive Funtime. Yuppie Psycho is a game where you join Brian Pasternak on his first working day at Centricorp. Uncertain, unprepared, and massively unqualified, will Pasternak have what it takes to shine at Centricorp's hierarchy? It all depends on how he performs on his first assignment, and whether he survives it. It is an indie adventure that was developed by Baroque Decay and published by Neon Doctrine. It was released on the 25th of April 2019 on Microsoft Windows. Bernband is a game where you explore the city of PFF. There are 23 plus unique locations to discover. It was developed and published by Tom. It was released on the 23rd September 2014 on Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Sonic Dreams Collection is an unofficial game based on Sega's Sonic the Hedgehog franchise that compiles 4 minigames presented as unfinished Sonic games. But the game as a whole later reveals itself to be a psychological horror game lampooning the modern Sonic fandom, which is known for its peculiarities. They include the character creator Make My Sonic, the massively multiplayer online role-playing game Eggman Origin, the adventure game Sonic Movie Maker, and the virtual reality game My Roommate Sonic. They are described in-game as having been developed by a non-existent Sega studio for the Dreamcast in the late 1990s. The game originated from the concept several individuals made during a Sonic-themed Valentine's Day event on the game-sharing website Glitch City. Sonic Dreams Collection quickly caught the attention of many video game journalists, who were intrigued by its absurd nature and content. They characterized the game as scary and bizarre but considered it a work people should be interested in playing, and noted its commentary on the series' fandom. Geek.com went on to name Sonic Dreams Collection the best game of 2015. It is a parody art game that was developed and published by Arcane Kids. It was released on the 10th of August 2015 on Microsoft Windows and Mac OS. Seaman is one of the few Dreamcast games to take advantage of the microphone attachment. The game developed a cult following for its dark humor, bizarre aesthetics, and innovative gameplay. Seaman was released multiple times, including a limited edition version titled Christmas Seaman that was released in Japan in 1999, alongside a limited edition Red Dreamcast and a PlayStation 2 version in 2021 titled Seaman Kenta no Pet, Kage Hakushi no Jinken Shima, the first edition of which came with a microphone. A PC version for which Microsoft Windows was planned, with the Seaman being able to interact with the user's applications. No release date was specified and it was later cancelled. The Seaman is a form of freshwater fish with a lifelike human face. It is a simulation that was developed by Vivarium and Jellyvision. It was published by Sega. It was released on the 29th of July 1999 on the Dreamcast and PlayStation 2. The Battle Cats debuted on Japanese iOS App Store in November 2011 under the name of Battle Neckos, with Android support following in December of that same year. It has sustained immense popularity in Japan and Korea, with an English version briefly appearing on the English language iTunes / Google Play stores in 2012. However, it was later deleted in both US Google Play stores and the App Store. A PC port was available for download until late 2018 when Ponos Corporation cut support for it. Players can get treasure, a vital stage reward that can be attained upon clearing one of the main story stages. The Battle Cats is a tower defense game where the player selects a team of cats with different stat amounts to kill enemies for protecting the cat base. It is a tower defense game that was published by Ponos Corporation. It was released on the 17th of September 2014 on iOS, Android, Nintendo 3DS, and Switch. Hylics is a recreational program with light JRPG elements. It is an indie RPG game that was developed and published by Mason Lindroth. It was released on the 2nd of October 2015 on Microsoft Windows. No Delivery is a game where you are the newest in a long line of employees for a local decrepit pizza parlor. Despite the rumors, shady history, and missing person cases, you sign up for the night shift because it pays slightly more and all the kids' birthday parties should have ended by then. Luckily, it'll just be a boring job in an empty pizzeria, right? It is an RPG simulator that was developed and published by Oats. It was released on the 26th of September 2019 on Microsoft Windows and Mac OS. In the Megaman Sprite game, Megaman and his brother Zero get into some trouble with some spooky ghosts. Join our heroes on an incredible adventure to obtain the magic bee-balls, mystical items that will grant a wish to whoever can obtain all three. Getting there is the only way to vanquish these awful operations for good. Features 2 incredible endings, more than 5 playable characters, and over an hour of gameplay. It is an RPG that was developed and published by Samanthuel. It was released on the 31st of October 2012 on Microsoft Windows. Johnny series is a long list of games that includes Johnny 1 through 21. Because of the number of Johnny games, 2 Fangames have been made by Cly 5M. It was developed and published by Mr. Krobus. The gameplay in Total Distortion has the player as a music video entrepreneur in the Distortion dimension, a place where they fight guitar warriors in guitar battles. The goal of the game is to get fame points, make money, and film successful music videos. The game was also known for its sense of humor. The famous game over screens featured the enemy singing a song called "You're Dead." One of the most distinctive features of the game was the sleep mode. When the player went to sleep, a dream appeared which consisted of a minigame. If the player failed the dream sequence, it would result in a nightmare, which decreased mental energy. It is a music point-and-click adventure game that was developed and published by Pop Rocket. It was released in November 1995 on Microsoft Windows and Mac OS. Gregory Horror Show is a game where the players must navigate the hotel retrieving the bottled souls which the hotel guests have been carrying. Neko Zombie, a heavily stitched cat who has become imprisoned in his room, introduces players to the control scheme and methods of spying on guests and stealing souls back. Spying through keyholes allows players to eavesdrop on useful information from guests, as well as a scout ahead before plunging into a room and coming face to face with guests. Guests will usually flee if they see the player character, while they still possess a bottled soul. Once the player has recovered the soul from that particular guest, instead of fleeing, they will chase and attack the player, reclaiming the soul should the player still be holding it. The guests can all run faster than the player's character, making stealth an important aspect of play. It is a survival horror game that was developed and published by Capcom. It was released on the 7th of August 2003 in the PlayStation 2. Suits, a business RPG, is a game where corporations control the entire global government. Injustice has inspired a revolution in Suits City. Follow the journey of a businessman's descent into corruption. It is an action-adventure indie RPG that was developed and published by Technomancy Studios. It was released on the 5th of January 2016 on Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Broken Reality is a humorous game set in a 3D parody of the internet. Diverse puzzles, beautiful worlds, friends, experiences, upgrades, and more await those who log on. It is an indie adventure game that was developed by Dynamic Media Triad and published by Digital Tribe. It was released on the 29th of November 2018 on Microsoft Windows. Stray Cat Crossing is a pixel horror game about an encounter with a mysterious little girl named Cat. Explore a surreal world filled with colorful characters, challenging riddles and dark secrets. It is an indie game that was developed by Jurlo and Jetpack Gone and was published by Fridge. It was released on the 28th of August 2015 on Microsoft Windows. Gingiva is a game where two squids and Quietus appear as hands clasped lovingly at the palms. An amoeboid landscape threatens to engulf civilization and all its plastic bottles. Disembodied mouse live at the walls of municipal buildings like household pets. Gingiva features 5 playable characters, over 100 fully animated creature portraits, multiple paths, and varied endings. It is an RPG that was developed and published by Takamo. It was released on the 22nd of September 2013 on Microsoft Windows and Mac OS. Anodyne is a unique Zelda-like game where you explore and fight your way through surreal, creepy, nature-urban, and abstract-themed areas in the human young subconscious, evoked by a 16-bit era visual style and moody, dreamlike soundtrack. It is an action indie adventure that was developed by Melos Hantani and Marina Kitaka. It was published by Anglistic Productions. It was released on the 22nd of March 2013 on Microsoft Windows and Mac OS. E&A Dream Barbecue is an upcoming interactive game and episode in the E&A franchise. It is considered the beginning of a new season of the series. The title E&A Dream Barbecue was first shown on Joel Guerra's Patreon on March 8, 2021. However, the teaser and the first announcement of Dream Barbecue were posted later on Joel G's YouTube and Instagram accounts on March 25, 2021. The same day, a tweet on Joel Guerra's Twitter stated that he was looking for new voice actors for future projects, alluding to new voice casting possibly in the short. On May 3rd, the same year, Joel had stated he had contracted COVID-19 from the ongoing pandemic, temporarily halting and slowing production of the episode. In Perfect Vermin, your task is simple: exterminate all vermin. The sledgehammer you have been provided is capable of destroying almost all office appliances and furniture that may be uncooperative. Your time is running out. It is an action indie adventure casual free-to-play game that was developed by Masio Bob Mayer and Angad Matharu and published by It's the Masio. It was released on the 6th of November 2020 on Microsoft Windows and Linux. Plug and Play is an award-winning short film and game for your digital device. Explore the feelings of anthropoid creatures that go beyond sexuality and reproduction. Love. Plug and Play is a surreal play with plugs. The game Plug and Play is based on the identically titled film by Michael Fry. The animated short received numerous awards and was shown at festivals all over the world. It was developed and published by Michael Fry and released on mobile devices. Remediation, a Dream Emulator demo, was inspired by LSD Dream Emulator, which was a previous entry in this Iceberg. This game is an exploration through spaces, some inspired by real dreams, all with the ambition of creating a sense of yearning and loneliness. These feelings can only be remediated by embracing dreams from a simpler state of mind. While this isn't a horror game, there are some creepy visuals that might be unsettling for younger players. It is an adventure game that was developed and published by Viela. It's currently in development, but you can play the demo on Microsoft Windows. Number 21 The World is a surrealistic exploration game based on ISDev's dream journal they have kept for years. The game is heavily inspired by Osamu Sato's LSD Dream Emulator. They hope to disturb, calm, and shock players with Number 21 The World's many settings. It was developed and published by ISDev on Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. In Tamashii, there is an ancient entity seeking help, a witch, an unnamed soul, and a twisted temple. A dark tale about inner discoveries set in a distorted and perverted world. It is an indie game that was developed and published by Vic and Tor. It was released on the 5th of March 2019 on Microsoft Windows. Always wanted that great job in the big city, looking for the opportunity of a lifetime? Right this way, M.Stain has a position with your name on it. Journey into a nightmarish world of bizarre people and twisted locals as you unravel the mystery of eccentric business tycoon M.Stain's true nature. Can you get the job? M.Stain is a survival game that was developed and published by Imposter Syndrome on Microsoft Windows. Somnio is a first-person horror game that was developed and published by Jamathan on Microsoft Windows. Neko Yume is an ambient exploration game heavily inspired by games like LSD Dream Emulator and Nikki. Explore a cat-filled dream with a day/night cycle and dozens of randomized events. Even if you have explored an area once, there is no guarantee that it will be the same upon your return. The Neko Yume Haunted PS1 demo contains 4 different areas to explore. It was developed and published by Modus Interactive on Microsoft Windows. You Left Me is a dark, funny, and surreal game about loneliness and loss. Comes with a chat-speaking cycloptic cat and moon that tells dad jokes. It was developed and published by Angela He on Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Chulip is an adventure life simulation game where, after numerous delays, the game was released in North America by Natsume on February 13, 2007 as a GameStop exclusive title. It was released on the PlayStation Network as a PS2 classic on December 4, 2012, exclusively in North America. Chulip puts a player in the role of a young man who has just moved to a new town and next door to the girl of his dreams. Although she wants nothing to do with him due to his family's poor economic status, he decides to write her a heartfelt love letter. When the letter is stolen, it is up to the protagonist to travel around the village and retrieve all of its pieces. The gameplay of Chulip revolves around improving the player's reputation with the citizens in order to access all parts of town. It was developed by Punchline and published by Victor Interactive Software and Natsume. It was released on the 3rd of October 2002 on the PlayStation 2 and Network. Cosmo D's games are games that were developed and published by Cosmo D. The games include Tales from Off-Peak City Volume 1, Norwood Suite, Off-Peak, and Saturn V. They were released on Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. OK/Normal is a short experimental third-person horror experience inspired by early 3D console games of the 90s. Journey through a dark, disjointed, dreamlike dimension with your cloud companion. Remember, a good diet, take your medicine, and you should be fine. It is an indie adventure that was developed and published by 98D Make. It was released on the 18th of June 2008 on Microsoft Windows and Mac OS. Sludge Life is a game where you roam a tiny island stuck on a sludge-covered planet as an upcoming tagger ghost set on staking their claim amongst the graffiti elite. Traverse a corporately branded landscape, chat up other taggers, and discover secrets and idiots along the way. Will you become the king of an island and tag every open inch? Infiltrate the sludge-pumping corporation Glug to find a way out? Or just take it all down in flames with you? It is an adventure game that was developed and published by Devolver Digital and Terriv. It was released on Microsoft Windows. Hello and welcome to the intro. I have finally finished editing. It's currently the 30th of April. This will come out in May probably, but oh boy, I did not expect that it'll take this long. I thought, oh, I'll get it out in February, and then I thought March, and then yep, April. No, it is May, because I didn't expect how busy I'd be with track and school and stuff. Anyways, thank you for getting my previous video the layer 1 video to 222 views. I really appreciate it. I didn't expect like the video to go like mini viral on my channel, you know, like as people call it. It's not like doesn't have that many views, but like when you put it up to like all the other videos, it has become my most popular video, which I just didn't expect to happen. But just thank you so much, and I'm just glad I finally finished this. Please make sure to go and like and subscribe and stuff, and share this video with other people, you know. And let me know if other ideas for videos I can do. And suggestions to make the series better. Anyways, thank you. Bye.